guys, last weekend was a huge tournament weekend. All right, we had big WGPs, the first WGPs that have the new ban list in effect, while also we had BCS starting up for the Western side, which is crazy, right? We have a new season, new format, top 32 cuts, right? And just I guess an interesting format, I guess, maybe we'll see. But yeah, no, it's crazy. Let's kind of just dive into it and see what has changed. We're gonna go through a few more decks this time than normal, just because I want to see like what are the impacts so far. What changes have like Shojudoji players and Shinori players done? Last week we had a peak with that Ultimate Cup, but that was like that wasn't a WGP, right? That was a big tournament, and we saw Shiranuis do okay. I think they were in top. They were in 3rd and 4th place, while other grade 4 decks did well. You know, we had I think a Kairi in first place. So yeah, lots of things going on. Let's get started. This is the Chiho Cup in Okinawa. So Okinawa, yeah, and it's not a full WGP. It's one of those more regional types, but you can see here Night Rose, a lot of players playing that, but still, you know, Vaga, Harry, Shojudoji, and all that did well. But let's kind of break it down. First, here we have first place team, the Wellstra Chaos and a Night Rose team. And then here we have the second place, Vaga, Thegria, and Night Rose as well. So this is a weird combination. The Thegria would be pretty good as a diversity cut split, but as you can see, you know, I think this format in Japan at least is just full of random decks, right? Random decks. Third place, we have the Undercover as well. Undercover, and then Ava, and a Direful Doll. So this is a really strange team. And then 4th place, we have the Shiranui. It's like full stride deck, right? Shiranui, Night Rose, Harry, bam. Yeah. And then I think we also have just the cuts, right? The full top 16 cut. And where the undefeateds started. So here, like, look at this, bam. We're just gonna go through it a lot of Blangdemeyers. I think the new Dark States Shenri just got released. I don't see people maybe getting 4 copies of it. I'm not too sure, but we'll see how it goes. Shiranui, there's some really some of these teammates have so we've got the Bastard Soul and the Bastard Mate. Yeah, okay. And then we have the Bastard Ride as well. What is going on in Okinawa, man? A lot of Harrys. Which is quite surprising. There's like 3 Harrys there. A full lyrical team with Leisha Fail and the Kyoka. Levidras as well. And then the last one here, yeah, this team's called Pasta. Right? Straight up Pasta. Yeah, we see quite a few blacks, right? Blacks. The Wellstra, funnily enough, the Wellstra becomes kind of a diversity pick because everyone's on black, right? Yeah. So it's crazy. Pretty crazy. Gonna jump into these are all on deck log, by the way. If you want to take a look, they're all there. They're all also on VG Paradox. So if you have lists that you want to see, or you want to submit lists for BCS, go submit into VG Paradox. Right, give Fuzzy a hell. He does all this stuff, right? Give him a hand. Yeah. And then here we have just the Night Rose lists. So what has changed with Night Rose? I don't think much has changed here. We see the Grade 1 Festival Collection being run, right? And also, I guess this team, or this player, ran 2 of the Dual Nation, which is maybe not something that we normally see. But when you think about it, it makes perfect sense, because when you play it down from hand, you can, like, check the top card of the deck, and if it's not, like, a card you want, you can just mill it, right? Which kind of fuels your drop zone, but you can get back important cards as well, like normal orders, or just calling out dudes to bash with. So, yeah. Pretty good. I think it's not a bad inclusion. That's for sure. This is all the top 4 teams, by the way. The Wellstra here, I think they recently got a new PR. This one, and it counter charges, which is always nice. That's what you want. Or you can energy charge. I don't really think the energy charge is that important. But like having extra shield is nice, because honestly, the issue here with this deck is that you don't really like. It's kind of a glass cannon. You can draw a lot of cards, but yeah, this is pretty good. All right, pretty good. So by fulfilling your energy charge needs, it means you don't need to run things like Bulb Mine, and because you do have like multi-function at least, like energy charge 2, I guess, you know, lets you energy blast 7 more often. Then yeah, then you don't need to, you know, you just have, it's multifunctional. Why would you not run this? Like, this is literally a Burble Mine with 10k shield. Of course you run it, right? So pretty cool, pretty cool. And then after that we have the Chaos. So Chaos showing itself with 2x of these Dark State Shenries. So this is out, right? This is out, but hard to obtain. I think it's hard to obtain. But the rest of it is just the normal Chaos deck. You just run different names, right? A bunch of different names, and just rush quickly, right? Then onto the second place team with the Varga. I don't really think Varga's changed that much, but this one's running Brachio Force to kind of, I guess, put on the aggression. Not running any of the new grade 3 that lets you like shuffle the deck and call something, which is quite interesting. I guess the value of that card is just not very high, but also just that everything else like replaces itself. So that's kind of what you want with this deck, right? And then after that we have the Thegria. So this Thegria's, I don't really think has anything really changed with this Thegria at all. Alright, I don't think there's been anything new that's been released for it, right? So it's just ye old Thegria list doing some work. Got they're not even running like the Caterpillar or anything like that. It's just like 4x Sergion. You have 4x of the old, well, I guess you're running 8 cyclers. Alright, and then you have some of the Thegria support just slashed in. So okay, that's cool. That's cool. Another Night Rose. So this one is kind of the more standard Night Rose that we've seen so far. This is running 4th. This is running 4 of the Philander, which I think a lot of people have been cutting this down. But the interesting tech here is, again, this card. This is the anti-hostage card, which is a lot of decks I've seen so far now have been taking in 1, just to kind of negate like the mirror or other decks that are running hostage. There's a lot of decks right now are running hostage, like especially Night Rose. They're running this package, so you can run this to kind of, you know, mitigate that, right? Which is, I guess, a nice anti-tech. And then after that, we have just this is the 3rd place team now. So this is the Undercover Engine. This is actually just a very normal Undercover deck. You just run a lot of the Undercover cards, and then you skim on like just like 1 copy of here. They're able to fit in 1 Festival Collection grade 1, and then just like 4x Sergion. Actually surprised like seeing Undercover again. I thought a lot of people just kind of forgot about it after release, but hey, it's back. It's like probably one of the really cheapest. Actually, maybe not. I actually don't know how much Dira is now. Daira, whatever it's called. I don't know how much this one is. This one might have gone up in price, but overall the deck on release was pretty cheap, except for the Sergions. After that, we got the Dieful Dolls. So some interesting text here. I know that this is the new PR that got released for Dieful Dolls, and overall, like the Dieful Doll stuff really hasn't been showing much. Like, it just kind of continuously dropped off since set 1. But this one looks like you can look at top 5 and grab a Dieful Doll, which I guess is nice. It's just extra consistency. It does require CB though, which why they're probably running this. So this is like this counter charges. It's supposed to be Bruce support, but basically you get the counter charge all the time. You always get the counter charge as long as you discard 1, which is kind of like, it's like you play this and then you discard a card to get a counter charge 1. It's pretty like ham-fisted to get that, you know. But you also have the Carbuncle, right? The Dark States Carbuncle also gets the counter charge 1 as well. So yeah, other than that, the Dieful Doll list is just pretty straightforward. I think just they add in the new PR. They cut off some of the I guess some of the fluff that the deck ran. So you just run the good cards and that's it. Yeah. Here we have an Ava list. Ava just popping back. Surprising. But then again, it's like kind of like a one-off. All right. And then we have, what is it? Shiranui. What has changed in Shiranui? Right. So we still have the Shenries. The Sekie has been bumped up to 4. And then Energy Cycle. But the rest of the deck is pretty much what it was before. Like really no changes. You just can't run Furai, so you feel sad. But again, the fixes, you just run some Sekies, some Esmeraldas, to kind of replenish, to kind of bump your restanding regards to like the 7 or 8 number, which just, Like before, it was gonna just be like 4 Furai, and then you'd cut some of these for that extra number. But again, the side effect here is that when more people are running Esmeraldas, that means the Dragon Empire Dragon, this one, the generic, gets to use the shield more often. So it's not necessarily a huge like fail, right? It's actually okay. And then the next one is the Night Ruse, right? So this one is having, again, you know, the grade 1s, the grade 2, the hostage, anti-hostage counter. So very cool, very cool. And then we have the Harry. So this is the first Harry list we're seeing today. This came 4th place. We can see 3 of the Dark Stage Shenry here as well. I really think this is going to make a big difference. Well, hopefully it makes a big difference to this deck. It's kind of like a glow up that maybe like the Surgon did, but I guess Surgon is like way more playable. When you're running the Shenry, you kind of want to run a few more orders, which I think you can see here. They're running some of these orders to kind of proc it when you need to. One thing with Harry is they no retire actually, so it can get pretty rough. But I guess the other interesting part is that this one's only running 1 Gigagram. A lot of the Japanese builds of Harry so far has been just running maxed out Gigagrams, because that's pretty much what Miltai said, and everyone just copied it, and it works pretty well, because you can get advantage, right? But yeah, this one cuts it down to 1, so definitely not relying on it. And then we have like 2 of the Grade 1 Festival collections. So yeah, this one, it's also running 1 Engraver, so it makes sense then, because then you're trying to fill up Soul, and then once you fill up Soul, you can use the Engraver a couple of times, and when you don't need it, you can like Soul Blast and just like draw cards, right? So, okay, alright, cool. And then onto the other list that seem pretty easy. I kind of want to go through all the Shoujudoji lists as well, and the Shiranui, some of the Shiranui ones at least, just because I wanted to see what changes players have been having. All the Shoujudoji lists before this has been pretty boring, like, to be real. Like, Shoujudoji lists before ban is pretty much the same, like, 50 cards main deck most of the time, or at least like the same 46 cards, right? There can be a few of the flex changes, but what has really changed? So the first change that we see here is that, well, the Izuso here has got restricted to 1, but they've upped their, well, maybe not upped their Forktail counts, because I know a lot of decks were running just like a couple of Forktails. I think like 2 Forktails, 2 Kagechikas. I guess they've put them like this still works while running an Energy Cycler and upping their counts here to 4. Like, because with the Unprecedented, they were cutting it down to 3, but they're just upping up to 4, and then that kind of just naturally fills in the 3 slots that you can't run anymore. But this is only one of the changes. Let's kind of continue. Here we have a Herminia list. So Herminia actually got some support as well. So this is like they're running 1 copy of something from LB201, like just out. I think we can build this list exactly. I think because we just got it. This is also from LB201. This was running 4x. So apart from that, the rest of it is just from older cards. Yeah, most of these are definitely from older cards. So you can just like put in these new support, and you have a Herminia list that made top 16, although it was on diversity cut. Let's just make sure we say that. Another Shoujudoji list. So this one is actually running the Arcs, Jakumetsu Arcs. So this actually is pretty interesting because it can kill off your opponent's bind zone, which is really good in the mirror, but also because you bind their stuff, right? So in the non-mirror, you have like another way of killing their bind zone off. It does require a soul though, but I guess to be fair, right? To be fair, it's like not that bad, because you can generate a decent amount of soul with this deck anyway. So running 2 of the Jakumetsu Arcs is pretty interesting. That kind of solves 2 of the slots, and then an extra Kagechika here will kind of work too, because it builds soul. So that works fine, right? Interesting changes. Another Shoujudoji list. This one is running the this is the Dojin, right? Dojin. This one is also another another card that can get rid of your opponent's bind zone. So just running extra bind zone removal, it looks like, is the play, or other consistency, like to build soul to like thin your deck. So as you can see here, you know, more Forktails, and then like, you know, maxed out, well, not maxed out, well, maxed out Unprecedented if they weren't doing it before, and then extra Kagechika, right? So okay. After this is a Shiranui one. What is the changes of the Shiranui one? This is a Meteor Flare. So we saw this kind of Meteor Flare tech from last week at the Ultimate Cup. So they're running just like 2 Meteor Flare. And then apart from that, just max out the Sekie. This one is not running any of the Esmeraldas. I do think the Esmeraldas are still like decent though. Although Sekie does like rack in a pretty good, you know, second stride, big draw, big power, restand. The Esmeraldas enable a lot. I think more players are going to be running ladder in the future again, just to counter a bunch of things in the meta. So having the Esmeraldas will just allow you to still have a pretty normal first stride turn, as well as activating the dragon. And like the power lines for the Esmeralda on first stride is still nothing to sneeze at. Like 1818 is still a very annoying number to guard. Way better than like what Sekie would get, which would be like 15, which is very easy to guard. And then, well, but it can't compare to Fura. Like Fura is just too good. So, all right, cool. Harry. So another Harry list. This one running only one of the Dark Stage Shenri and full on the 4x of the Gungaram. Sort of clear Gungaram build. What is interesting is they're running one copy of this dragon, which allows you to put a trigger unit into your soul. Discard a trigger unit when this card is placed on the rearguard circle, and then you get to pick one of your opponent's columns and just retire everything there. So this can be like a way where you clear out a column and get rid of cards, which adds like another dimension to Harry, which lets you retire stuff. But then because your opponent has like less cards on the field, you can kind of trigger these the kind of Shenri clone. Which one is it? This is like Furia, right? So pretty interesting tech. But you're only like one copy of this, so maybe it's like not too. It's just like something fun to do. I guess this guy's pretty greedy. Like only 2 Manticores. Wow, okay. But I guess you kind of want, again, you kind of want to just go into Harry of turn, right? So like 4x Harry. So okay, all right, yeah, true. I guess. And then after this, another Shiranui. So what is this? Shiranui. This just looks like the same list that we saw before, but I guess people play the same deck, so I guess that's fine. And another Harry here as well. So 2x of the Manticore as well. This one running Dual Nation, the Dark States Dual Nation with the Brandgate. Yeah, no 4x Gungram. None of the Furia. None of the Furia. So okay, another list, another Harry list. Another one here. This one's maxed out the Manticore. Maxed out Manticore. No Furia as well. 4x of the Gungaram, and then 2 of the Festival Collection Grade 1. So Falcratia. Yeah, alright. And then just a couple of more. So this is the Chronojet. I thought we'd see some Chronojet builds that ran maybe the new Furia, but I guess they still either it's like too hard to get, but they're still sticking with some of the old techs anyway. Like the Folklore tech is just too good. With the grade 1, so why change what works, right? They're running because I feel like this card would work pretty well with the Furia as well, right? Because in Dragon Empire it worked really well with the Shenri, so you can just kind of call it out. But I guess they don't. They still run this. Let them soul charge, but let's I guess call out like grade 1s that are good. Yeah, okay. And then lastly we have another Shoujo Doji. This one has fully teched out on the Dojin, right? So again, like the move to just maxing out cards that remove cards from the bind zone is what it seems like is the way forward after Shoujo Doji gets in. And as you can see, like Okinawa had a lot of Shoujo Doji decks, so clearly like the deck is still working, which is fine, I guess. Like you don't want the deck to just fully die out. You still want it to be competitive, but like not broken competitive. So that's kind of all the Okinawa lists we're looking at this week. Again, there's quite a few other ones that you can take a look at, but in the interest of time, all right, we're not gonna go through all like 16 times 3. It's like 48 decks, right? So that's a lot. Anyway, let's go to the next one we have we have Indonesia WGP Deluxe as well. This is a singles, it should be a higher round tournament as well. And this one was a cut to top 8, and this one had 2 Shoujo Dojis, 1 Shiranui, Bling the Leonor, Nairos, Tvaga, and Kairi, right? And then onto the top 4, you can see this is a full Dragon Empire domination, because we have the first and second place, we've got Reza, first taking on with Shoujo Doji, second with Ardana, also with Shoujo Doji. So double Shoujo Doji, this should be after the ban list as well. And then after that we have Steven Leonardo, which was a Shiranui, and this, like, technically this should have gotten banned, right? But yeah, hey, Shiranui taking home, and then a Vaga. Right, a Vaga. So this Vaga, we don't have to set 5 stuff, so unfortunately not as strong as these boys. But let's take a look at the list. What is Indonesia cooked? All right. First we have is, what do they change? So 1 Furai. So yeah, it's ban. But then they put in the cabbage lad. So cabbage and dragon. This was actually an interesting tech, I think, because what you have here is something that can play early. You can call out a token early and then actually rush with it. But then later on, you still have a function where you can give your front row plus 5k, right? Which is pretty good. Like for any card that's called by an effect. And Shooter just called everything via effect, so everyone's gonna be dipping into that 5k and getting quite a lot of, like, you know, kudos from that. So I think it's an interesting tech compared to like the Japanese side. We're running full on the anti-bind zone tech. This one's refreshing, right? Refreshing to see. Yeah. And then the next one, second place we have they ran this one. So I guess, like, if you call, so this card's effect is that when you call this card to the regard circle, by an effect, if your opponent has like 2 or less regards, it gets plus 10k. So it can hit good numbers, and it can work off grade 2 Shoujo Doji as well. So if you call it off that, and this guy comes down, it's like 20k, hitting a really, really good number. But then later on as well, when you're maybe playing the mirror, your opponent will kind of guard with the Shoujo Doji effect as well, and their side will go down very low. But even if they don't do that, usually they don't have that many cards in the regard circles. So this will just naturally be a big beater and work pretty decently. And then it has like on hit, you can retire and draw, which I think it's okay. Like, you can filter yourself early on when you play it out. This one will probably likely hit, so you can kind of just cash in there. But yeah, this one is a nice different take. I think the Indonesian takes on the Shoujo Doji bans have been to play more aggressively, while the Japanese side has been playing, you know, more control in a way, which is interesting. But of course, these are just the first few decks. The sample size is very low. Let's put it that way, right? Let's put it that way. And then third place, we have the Shiranui. So what was here with the Shiranui? With the 4x Sekie, now with the 1 Furai. But then, yeah, 2 Esmeraldias. Yeah, to trigger, and then some defensing rolls. So just kind of spreading out the love, right? You know, put in the Sekie, put more into Sekie, put more into Esmeraldia. The counts are the same, right? So like 4, 1, and 2. So that's like 7 restanders. Pretty similar to the numbers you had before, except, you know, they're more focused on Furais. But yeah, that's basically the change. Right? That's basically the change. And then lastly, we have the Vaga list. So this one is running the set 4 grade 3, and then this is just a more like traditional standard Vaga list that I think we're all used to, right? So nothing too special there. But yeah, congrats to them all. And then lastly, let's kind of move on to, well, not lastly, let's move on to Sacramento. There's 2 formats we need to talk about in Sacramento. No more V this year, right? No more V. It's just standard and premium. Sacramento had a crazy turnout, so there's top 32. That means there was more than 250. I think it was 400 plays is what the count said. 420 maybe. Don't know the exact number, but as you can see, you know, Shoujo Doji, we don't have a ban list yet, so as expected, Shoujo Doji is doing very, very well, followed by Leonorn, which I think a lot of people rate very, very highly. It's kind of interesting because a lot of people say that Leonorn has a bad matchup versus Shoujo Doji, but then people are taking it to the tournament when Shoujo Doji is the best deck. Yeah, and then some other crazy like this. Look at this, Gravidia. What is this? Gravidia? Yeah, and then a Yotsuba as well. A Yotsuba, yeah. And then when you get, it's cool because then in the top 16, you know, you can see Shoujo Doji really popping off. Leonorn just died, right? The Yotsuba died as well. Sad times. And then we have top 8. So the 4 Shoujo Doji making all the way through to top 8, right? And then finally our last results. We've got Kenny Wong in first place with the Shoujo Doji. Ken Chong with the Nadia. Third was Alec Goff with the Shoujo Doji. So this is Utman. And then fourth was Lander with Leonorn. So Leonorn able to make it to the top 4. But unfortunately not able to get an invite. These top 3, congrats on the invite to Worlds. It feels like, you know, a big weight should have been lifted. Yeah. So we don't have all the results here, unfortunately. So let's just kind of take a look at what we have. I don't think the Shoujo Dojis will be that interesting. This is kind of just what we've been seeing for a lot. First place Shoujo Doji, as you can see, yeah, this is like the flex slots, the Cycler, and the Kagechika. That's kind of it. What was Utman's list? Utman, I think, is just 2 Kagechika, right? No Cycler. Again, that's just all the flexes. And then Leonorn running a lot of 3 odds. Because I guess they want to take in. Oh, they're pretty greedy, but also pretty smart. So as you can see, like, yeah, you know, 4 Broccoli, right? Broccoli is very, very cool. But 3 Cyclists, 3 Lusters, 3 Alvina, basically 3 of everything here that they can kind of get away with. And then 4, you can't cut what was it? You can't cut Rosario Inferior. Right? That has to be a 4. What was the ride line? Boom. So full on rural ride line. To kind of fit in two of the purple girl, Passia. So this one, like, I think people have been like semi-cutting. But then if you want to fit in even more, right? Some of the stuff that you don't need as much. So I see people run like Ideal in the flex slot, but if you want to extend the flex slot, like, think about this, right? A lot of these cards, I think Passia, Ideal, Habitat, and the Seed, right? Seed Machine Gun. These are all flex slot cards, but then you don't normally see them all together because you only have a limited amount of flex slot. But then when you start cutting one-offs of all the 3s, then you have space. That's how you make space. So you have one of each of these flexes. And then I think this one is very important because this is just, when you get this, you can at least have one Shoujo Toji turn that is slightly more survivable, which I think is very important. So I think all Stoichea decks, if you're playing in English right now, you should be taking like probably 1 copy of this because you can fit it. And if you can't fit it, find a way to fit it in, right? And then finally, let's move on to Premium. So top 16 in Sacramento for Premium. I think California's like the big state, right? They get 2 BCSs this year, or this time, which is crazy. I think this is in North California, and the other one's in South California. But 4 Nubatamas, 4. I'm assuming they're all Crest Nuis. So 4 Crest Nuis made it into top 16, followed by Neo Nectar and Grand Blue. So no surprises here. This is largely considered to be the best decks in the format. But then we have like 2 Bermuda Triangle, a Mega Colony, an Angel Feather, which should be Gize, right? Angel Feather, Gize, and then I think you can see here. Then 1 Narukami, and then what happened? Top 8. All the Shunuis died, it seems. But the Bermudas made it through, right? 2 Bermuda, 2 Grand Blue, 1 Neo Nectar, and then 1 Mega Colony, Nubatama, and Angel Feather. And then lastly in the top 4, these are the players who made it through. I've got Zachary Williamson going through the Katrina, right? Jun Kim, 2nd place with the Shiranui. 3rd was Hui Trin with the Highlander, and 4th was Peter Van Allen, just missing out with the Gridora, right? So I think, is this the same Peter I know? He's still on the Mega Colony Cope train? If it's not though, then congrats. So yeah, so we don't have the first places, but the 2nd place list was running this Crest Nui list. I think a lot of people have been looking at the fact that this deck only ran 2 of the Seizui, and people, I guess the creator of the deck mentioned that you don't always need it. I think you probably do want it though. I think there was a let's say a movement or an idea in the beginning of these, these crest givers in Premium, that you don't need to run 4x because you don't always need to get it, right? Like, I think some players were just running 1x, something like that in the deck. If they see it, they see it. If they don't, they don't, right? And if they don't see it, they only have 1 dead card in their deck. But if you run 4 of these crest, if you run 4 of the crest givers and you don't see it, you have 4 dead cards in your deck. So if you are a deck that doesn't really require you to 4x the crest giver because you don't need the crest, then you can choose not to run 4x. But I think every single deck list that we've been seeing for the past like year so far, or however long it's been, all the major tournaments, they've been running 4x. So in terms of crest, well, Shiranui, not just crest Nui, like, I think a lot of the new Nui builds, the crest Nui builds, have just been like focusing more on the multi-attack and kind of going away on like the hard control slash minusing hand. But I feel like this one is trying to be more greedy towards both. I mean, it did come 2nd, so look, it is what it is, right? And I think I read the report, they got the crest 8 out of 11 times. But I didn't double check if they lost the 3 times they didn't get the crest though. So we'll have to see. But the reality is that if your opponent has no cards in their hand, they can't guard. That's it, right? So if you can get them to no cards in hand, they can't guard. Crest power doesn't matter. But at the times when you don't control them, then crest power matters. I think that's just how it is, right? And then here we have the 3rd place Highlander list. I mean, it's Highlander, and I normally don't really get into Highlander lists. I don't think this has changed that much because we haven't really gotten that many new cards from Lyrical. That's changed the whole thing. There is one mist off they're running. One mist off. Okay. And then lastly, we have Peter's deck here, which is running actually 3 mist offs. And in terms of what they're doing with the Ghidorah, it just seems like a very normal Ghidorah list, right? You just call the Hell Demise, do the 5 attacks, but your opponent can't G-Guard, your opponent can't call stuff down. Eventually you win because you just minus a bunch of power. But then I guess the mist-offs just kind of control their hand if they're a deck that just get a bunch of hand. So seems interesting. I feel like Ghidorah like fell off quite a lot after it's like, well, after I think a couple of years ago. But to be fair, like, this deck will probably just catch a lot of people unawares just because people forget it. And when you have like random text like this, we'll just go, what just happened? What happened to my hand? Why can't I guard? Why is your thing hitting so big? So yeah, I feel like actually also running the Dual Nation stuff too, right? Dual Nation. What do you get back from this? I think you just call. I guess you can access your grade 3s better, so you can always like yeah, is it? You call a grade 2 or greater to regard circles. So I guess you can just call more of these grade 2s out, more of these grade 3s out. If you're missing a, is the Moth? Moth's only in deck and soul, right? So that doesn't really work. But I guess you can keep on calling this guy out, right? The Antlion, boom, 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 boom. If it dies, you just bring it back, and you're like, okay, so, all right, I guess. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, it seems pretty interesting. Able to make a 4th place. I guess, especially when the format is like Katrina and Grand Blue, right? You have a really, really good shot at just cucking them out. Anyway, that's all the lists this week. So there were quite a lot of tournaments, and I think there'll be more coming, right? Because the season has started, and there's a lot of things going on. So that's it. Bit of a long video this time. Let me know in the comments what you all think. If you get BCS results, you can submit them. Well, if you have BCS results, you can submit them on Fuzzy's website. But make sure the results you get are like legit. So it's not like a leak, right? If you're like a judge and you've been told not to leak results or deck codes, and you leak them like without permission, that's bad. Don't do that. BCS is more serious than Springfest, unfortunately. But yeah, if you have deck lists that if you're topped and you go, man, I want to share my deck, or your friend, you have a friend who wants to share the deck, let them know. Go to the VG Paradox website and plug those results in their submission form. All right, that's it. Thanks everyone. I'll see you all next time. All right, bye.